Okay, my beautiful people, you are welcome to today's tutorial. I want to learn how to make a vintage shirt, neat vintage shirt. Now, if you know vintage material, you will know that handling vintage material is very, very difficult. Okay, so I want to show us the things that we need to be able to create a neat vintage shirt, right? The things that we'll be needing to create a neat vintage shirt. So, and I'll be plotting directly on this fabric. This fabric was sent by one of my custom viewers that said someone gave it, she wants to make it, but she doesn't want, she's scared of wasting the material. Okay, so one thing you have to remove from your mind when you want to go into the ready to wear business is in ready to wear business, don't be scared of mistakes, more especially when it comes to your own. Don't be scared of it, one. Then secondly, know it that many mistakes you see in any fabric turns to style. Stop being afraid. I'm going to be cutting this one for you, Ella. This is the last one I'm going to be cutting for you. Next time, destroy the cloth. When you destroy it, you go and buy another one. So the things that we'll be needing for this particular tutorial is our chalk, first and foremost. Okay, we'll be needing our chalk, we need our tape roll, we need our ruler, definitely we need our scissors. Pay attention. We need our scissors, then we need our stay, any type of stay at all that you have, but don't use the hard one. Yes, don't use the very hard one. That one they call color stay abi peplum stay. So use any soft stay, air stay, anyone that you can lay your hand on. You need it. And very importantly, very importantly, please, we need our office pins. Very important. There's nothing you are doing on vintage material that you don't need pin, because it will not stay for you to be cutting it. Okay, so these are basically all the things that you need. Okay, now because I don't want to waste much time, and this person said please mama cut for me, I'm going to be cutting on this person's fabric directly. Okay, now another thing you have to look out for in vintage material is the designs on the fabric. The design is what you are going to also look out for. Okay, now you will check for write-ups. Na so person go, so was it Tinubu abi Buhari's native, turn the head upside down? Please, it's a very costly mistake to make. Make sure that it's placed properly. Okay, make sure that it's readable. Okay, I want to make a particular design that is always in the ready to wear market. Okay, you will see how this design is going to come out. So make sure that by the time you are finished sewing your cloth, whatever write up on the cloth is readable. Now this T must stand well. Please don't turn our T upside down. Take note of it. Now, okay, for you to know the quantity you are cutting out, okay, the measurement we are going to be using is this way and this way. Okay, now the person's shoulder is shoulder 17, bust 38.5, waist 34. Please, for this particular style, we do not need waist. Eliminate the waist. Okay, eliminate the waist. Next time, Ella, please eliminate waist for this style. We only need the bust. We only need the hips. We do not even need the half length. Okay, now top length, please, I don't know, top length, I want to make mine 30. Okay, because I don't understand why this person said top length is 21. Now sleeve length here, then round sleeve is this area. Okay, that's that for that. Now for us to determine the wideness of our pattern, okay, we are going to be using the hip measurement, and this person's hip measurement is 40. To be dividing 40 into 4, and we are going to be getting 10 inches. Okay, now in that 10 inches we are going to add 1.5 ease allowance. My ease allowance is going to be 1.5. Okay, 10 plus 1.5, that is 11.5, plus 2 inches sewing allowance, that is 13.5. Now this area I already folded here. is the area for our button, and I'm giving it 2 inches. Okay, I'm giving it 2 inches, 11.5 plus 2 inches, sewing allowance, that's 13.5 plus 2 inches of this button flap, and I have 15.5. So the wideness of my pattern this way is going to be 15.5, while this way I want to choose 30. Okay, or let me just say 31 because of sewing allowance. Okay, so now I'm going to be measuring. The first thing you are going to do is to cut out the front and the back and keep it for placing. Okay, so now this is where the use of stay comes in. Now you will use stay for the bottom flap. You must, in making vintage, please be careful about how you show thread on your fabric. For me, I don't like thread to show much. On my sleeve, thread will not show. On my collar, thread will not show outside. Okay, so you try to hide thread lines, your stitches. Now, for my flap to be able to stay so that I can do my normal work, I laid it with stay. This is the 2 inches I removed for my bottom. Okay, can you see? And I'm folding it gently inside. After you have finished folding the 2 inches inside, of which you are going to use iron to make it very flat so that it can stay. I'm just showing you, when working with vintage, you have to be very careful and patient. If you are not patient, you will get a shabby job. You have to be very patient. Okay, so let's mark now, depending when my steam iron is getting ready. So I will measure 31 this way. I will also measure 31 this way. Now the beauty of vintage styles is that you have to be careful how the designs are showing. Okay, you have to be careful how your designs are showing. Very careful. Don't allow your designs to scatter. Now the way I've placed this for the front, I will also make sure that this is how I'm going to place it for the back. Now when working on the sleeve, also make sure that if the pattern shows on one sleeve, it should show on the other sleeve. The quantity of pattern that shows on this sleeve should show on the other one. Now if possible, try not to, like in this so this way I have 15 inches, this way I have 31. I will use my pin to hold it down. Okay, so that I can cut. So this is for the front pattern, right? I will mark it front. We set it aside because we are going to be using this front to cut out the back pattern. Make sure that the design is positioned at the center. Then make sure that center, look at the T. Okay, so you have what to use and check for the center. Look at the T. Okay, so the T is supposed to be at the center. Look at how we iron so that we can pin it down. Now, because we are making a shirt, it is not the normal cutting of a blouse. Okay, so the back pattern is always longer than the front pattern by 3 inches. We are going to lift this pattern. Okay, we are going to lift the front pattern and measure 3 inches. Now when you are working on it, be looking out for mistakes or cuts in your fabric so that you dodge them. Okay, so that you dodge them. I have a problem somewhere around here. Look at it. So I have to eliminate this, so you be conversant of all these things so that it doesn't enter your measurement. Okay, so the back pattern, like I said, is going to be longer than the front by 3 inches. Okay, it's going to be longer than the front pattern by 3 inches, and so we are going to measure 3 inches this way. From the front pattern we measure 3 inches. So make everything equal, but from the down part of the back pattern, as you place the front pattern, you make the 3-inch, you make the front pattern 3 inches longer. We are trying to create a back pattern that is going to be longer. Okay, can you see? I've done that now. This is front pattern and back pattern together, and the front pattern is shorter by 3 inches. Okay, the back pattern is going to be longer. Okay, because we are making a shirt pattern. Look at what we'll now do. Okay, look at what we'll now do. You know, it's the down part that was longer by 3 inches now. Okay, now let's go ahead to create our shoulder slant. Now normally for an average blouse, what we used to do is create the neckline 3 inches, and that 3 inches is where the shoulder slant is going to start from. Now it's not the same with this one. Now look at what we are going to do. We will now mark 2 inches from the edge here, right? I don't know if the camera is picking it. We'll mark 2 inches from 2.5 inches from the top here. Okay, this is it now. 2.5 inches we mark. Okay, and then we use our ruler. We use our ruler to slant it to this edge for the two. Okay, for the two, the front and the back pattern. Okay, we use our ruler to slant it to this edge. Can you see? And after you've done that, you will cut it. Can you see what I did now? Your shoulder slant has been created. This is for a shirt pattern. This is how to slant the shoulder for a shirt pattern. Have you seen what we did? We have slanted out that place. Now we are going to now make the down part equal. Okay, you drag the down part down. Drag it down. Can you see? You drag it down. Can you see what happened here? Okay, you drag it down. Because we dragged it down, can you see what happened here? Can you now see the top part is now shorter instead of the down part? We make the down part equal so that we'll see the difference on this top part, because this is actually where we want to form something. Now when you are done with that, you will mark 1/2 inch. This 1/2 inch is for sewing allowance. Okay, this 1/2 inch is for sewing allowance. We'll use our ruler. Okay, we'll use our ruler to connect it like so. Guys, just follow this instruction and you are good. Can you see what is going on here? Now you bend this one like so on that 1/2 inch. On that 1/2 inch. Make sure it's on that half, and then you use your office pin is ready, you now go ahead and mark out everything that you need to mark out. Now we'll be marking out our neckline, and I told you guys that in marking out for shirt pattern, please do not use the 3x3 standard measurement. Please calculate the person's neck measurement, which is bust divided by 12. Whatsoever you get, put it here and put it here, and you are done. So now I'll be using 2.75 for this my client. Okay, I'll be marking 2.75. Okay, 2.75, and I also mark 2.75 here. Okay, and I will use my curved ruler, or I use my free hand to connect like so. Okay, now I will mark my shoulder, and this person's shoulder is 14, is 17, which is 8.5. 8.5. Okay, I will mark my 8.5 on the slanted area. Okay, and then I will come down. I will still check that 8.5 so that I'll be sure of where I'm marking. Okay, now I will come down. We have already done our shoulder slope, so there's no need for shoulder slope anymore. So I'm coming down by 9 inches, which is my armhole depth. Okay, my armhole depth is 9 inches. I will use my ruler to connect. Okay, now because we need only bust line and hip line, okay, I don't need to be measuring the bust line. I will use this armhole line as my bust line. So the bust of this person is 38.5. Okay, 38.5 divided by 4, and I get 9.5 inches. 9.5 inches. I told you our our allowance is 1.5. 9.5 inch plus 1.5, that is 11 inches, plus 2 inches allowance. I have 13. I have 13 inches. Okay, and I mark my 13 inches around here. Okay, now coming down to the hip line, this person's hip is 40 inches. Okay, I will now measure my hip line. I need my hip line, right? So my hip line is 25 inches, like so. Okay, I will measure 2.5. Okay, let's just hold on. My hip line is 25 inches. That's what I've marked here. Okay, 25 inches. That is what I have marked here. Now I will now the person's hip measurement circumference. Hip circumference is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. 10 inches plus 1.5 is allowance is 11.5, plus 2 inches. 2 inches sewing allowance is 13.5. So I have 13.5 right here. This is where I have 13.5. Now there's a reason I said you should hold on. Now I will go up 2 inches from here, yeah, and then I'll come down 2 inches from here, yes, and then I will go this way, connect with my free hand. This particular style, you can use your free hand to connect. Okay, okay, now we are going to be working on the armhole. We're cutting out our job. I cut the front armhole. And also cut the front neckline. Can you see what our front pattern is looking like right now? Okay, you see the design is exactly on the center. Now this is your flap for the button. Okay, I'll be showing us how to work on the button. Okay, you see whatever you are doing, it will stay because you used stay to hold this one. Okay, we set this aside. This is cutting out my back neckline. I had to remove it to cut my back neckline. I want to add design to it, so I want the back neckline, the top like this, to be pure black. So I already cut out the back neckline, so I'm going to be folding it back now so that I'll be able to cut the neckline for the back. Okay, Okay, so you can see is this extra 3 inches that is here that I cut out. I cut as plain black. Okay, so I'll be folding it back. Remember, I don't know if I showed the cutting of the neckline for the front. Just remove the top of the back pattern and cut out the front neckline the way it is. Okay, can you see it? Cut out the front neckline. Now you are going to fold it back the way it is. Can you see? We all know how much vintage shirt is in the market. It's time for you to cash out. Start making vintage shirts and trousers, vintage shirt and short knicker. Okay, remember I told you are going to be, we placed the back pattern on the 1/2 inch, right? We placed the half pattern on the back pattern on the 1/2 inch. Okay, do you remember? So you are going to still place it that way again. Okay, pin it down so that it doesn't move. Okay, because now we want to cut our back pattern, we want to cut the neckline, and there's a particular trick to cutting it. Okay, there's a particular trick to cutting our back neckline. Can you see? Can you see? Okay, now we have cut the front neckline. Okay, you will just take your scissors, and continue from the continuation of the back neckline, of the front neckline. If you are confused, okay, just measure it back. Can you see? So now this is it like so. Okay, this is my 3 inches wideness. Okay, now all you need to do is follow this curve for this one, follow it and cut to that 3 inches. Can you see? Follow it and cut it. Can you see? Follow it and cut it to this side. That's all. And then you trim it out from here. This is your neckline for the back. When you are done cutting and your neckline is not looking like this, you made a mistake. Do you understand? So just mark the 3 inches, the 2.5 inches, sorry, that were for the neckline, right? Mark it. Then follow the curve of the front neckline and cut it and just trim it out. That's all. You don't have to come down by anything. Your neckline is perfect this way. And so you open up your pattern now. Okay, open up your pattern now. Okay, this is your back pattern. Your back pattern is perfect this way. Okay, you can just trim out this pointed edge, but it doesn't have any problem. Okay, this is your back pattern. You can see mine, I have design already, black pattern design on my shoulder, because this is going to be your shoulder, because it's coming to the front like so. This is going to be your shoulder, and you can see my designs are perfectly sitting on the center. You can see my designs are perfectly sitting on the center. Now, okay, for the sides of your vintage, you can decide to curve it if you want. You can do all that by the time you do all that. Okay, so join the hem part, the hem part for the two. Okay, join the hem part for the two, and then come up by like 1 inch. Okay, and then you just curve it out like so. Anyhow, curve it out like so. Ready to wear business designs, no hard at all, at all. Guys, I hope I inspired you. The only thing you have to do now is join your sleeve, join your collar, join your bodies, and then I'll be coming back to show you, okay, what to do with this buttonhole area. Okay, cash out of vintage money, cash out, be ready to cash out on vintage money. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.